The alarm screamed through the space station. Captain Sung jumped from his chair and ran to the main screen. His heart pounded as he saw what was coming. Ships, hundreds of alien ships. They filled the darkness of space like a swarm of angry insects. "How many?" he asked his crew. 300, sir," said Commander Sang-ho. His voice shook a little. "Maybe more. They're still coming through the jump point." Sung looked at Earth below them. The blue and green planet looked so peaceful, so small. He had sworn to protect it. But how could 47 human ships fight 300 alien vessels? Dr. Jin rushed into the command room. Her face was pale. "They're sending a message," she said. The main screen changed. An alien appeared. It looked like a giant lizard standing on two legs. Its skin was dark purple with silver markings. Its eyes glowed red. When it spoke, the computer translated its words into human language. "People of Earth," the alien said. Its voice was cold and flat. "I am Lord of the Empire. We have come to add your world to our domain. You have 48 hours to surrender. If you resist, we will destroy you. This is not a negotiation, this is fact. We have conquered 23 worlds before yours. All of them tried to fight. All of them failed. Do not waste lives. Surrender now." The screen went black. Nobody spoke for a long moment. Then Sang-ho broke the silence. "What do we do?" Sung looked at his crew. They were all young. Most of them had never seen real combat. Earth had been at peace for 60 years. Their weapons were old. Their ships were slow. They would crush them in minutes. "Get me Admiral 1, Sung said. The Admiral appeared on screen quickly. She was an old woman with short gray hair and sharp eyes. She had fought in the last Earth War when she was young. She knew what real battle looked like. "You saw their message?" she asked. "Yes, ma'am," Sung replied. "Then you know we cannot win a straight fight," one said. She did not look scared. She looked angry. "I've been studying their previous invasions. They always do the same thing. They show up with massive force. They threaten. And every single species surrenders within 2 days." "So we surrender?" asked Sang-ho. "No," one said firmly. "We do something they don't expect. We change the rules." Jin stepped forward. "What do you mean, Admiral?" One smiled. It was not a happy smile. It was the smile of someone planning something clever. Every species they conquered gave up after seeing their fleet. The think war is simple. Show strength, enemy surrenders, move on. They're bullies, and bullies don't know what to do when someone doesn't fall down crying. "But we can't beat them," Sung said. "We don't have to beat them," one replied. "We just have to confuse them, buy time, make them uncomfortable. They are proud. They care about honor and tradition, so we use that against them." "How?" asked Jin. "We send them a message," one said. "We tell them we want to surrender, but we need 72 hours instead of 48. We'll say we need time to prepare proper surrender ceremonies that honor culture and traditions. We'll ask them to send us information about their customs so we can do it correctly." Sang-ho laughed. "They'll never believe that." "Yes, they will," Jin said slowly. She was smiling now too. "Because they're arrogant. They'll think we're so scared that we want to make them happy. They'll think we're trying to get mercy by respecting their culture." "Exactly," said one. "And while they wait and feel proud of themselves, we prepare, not for surrender, for war." Sung nodded. "I'll send the message." An hour later the response came. Lord appeared on screen again. He looked pleased. "Your respect for tradition is noted," he said. "This is wise. You will have 72 hours. We will send you our cultural database. Prepare well. The Empire is generous to those who show proper respect." When the transmission ended, the whole command crew cheered. "Now what?" asked Sang-ho. "Now we work," said one. "Contact every scientist, engineer, and soldier on Earth. I want ideas. I want weapons. I want anything that can help us survive. We have 3 days." Sung watched the fleet on his screen. The ships sat there waiting. They looked so confident, so sure of their victory. They had never lost before. They thought this would be easy. He thought about his family down on Earth, his sister and her 2 children, his elderly parents, his friends, everyone he loved, that would enslave them all or kill them. He would not let that happen. "Sir," said one of his crew members, a young woman named Na, "I have an idea." "Tell me," Sung said. "They sent us their cultural database, right? What if we send them ours, not as part of negotiations, just as a gift, to show respect?" "So," Sengho asked. "So we flood them with information," Na explained. "Movies, music, books, art, history, everything. We bury them in human culture, make them curious about us. The other species they conquered probably just begged for mercy, but we act interested in them. We act like we want to learn from them." Jin gasped. "That's brilliant. If they see us as people with culture and history, not just targets, it might make them hesitate. Even a little hesitation helps us." "Do it," Sung ordered. For the next 72 hours, Earth did not sleep. Factories worked overtime building weapons from whatever they could find. Scientists worked on new technologies. Soldiers trained for battle. And Na's team sent a constant stream of human culture to the fleet. At first, they ignored it. But slowly, some of them started watching. Human movies were strange to them. Human music made no logical sense. Human art showed emotions they did not understand, and human history was full of wars where the weaker side somehow won. On the flagship, Lord watched a human movie about a small group of soldiers holding a bridge against an entire army. The humans in the movie died, but they delayed the enemy long enough for their people to escape. Why would they fight if they knew they would lose? He asked his second in command. "Unknown, my lord," the officer replied. "It is illogical." Felt something strange, something he had never felt before when conquering a planet: doubt. The 72 hours ended, sent his final message. "The time for surrender has passed. You have not surrendered. We will now take your world by force." Sung looked at his crew. They were ready. They would probably die, but they would die fighting. "All ships," he said into the radio. "Remember, we don't have to win. We just have to make them regret coming here. For Earth, for humanity, fight." The battle began. The first battle lasted only 4 hours. When it ended, 30 human ships were gone, destroyed. Sung watched the names scroll across his screen. Each name was a ship. Each ship held a crew, friends, people he knew. But the lost 15 ships. 15 out of 300 did not sound like much, but it was 15 more than they expected to lose. "They're pulling back," Sengho said. He sounded surprised. The fleet moved away from Earth. They did not retreat, they just moved back, waiting, watching. "They're confused," said Jin. She was studying the enemy ships through their sensors. "Look at their formation, it's loose, disorganized. They expected us to die quickly or run away." "We did neither," Sung said. He felt tired, so tired, but they could not stop now. Lieutenant Na ran into the command room. Her eyes were bright with excitement. "Sir, it's working. They're watching our broadcasts, not just a few ships. Almost half the fleet is consuming human media." "What are they watching?" asked Admiral One. Her face appeared on the main screen. "Everything," Na said. "History documentaries, war movies, music videos, comedies. One ship has watched the same sad movie 5 times. They're trying to understand us." One smiled. "Good. Now we take the next step. Send direct messages to individual ships, not military communications, personal ones." "What kind of messages?" asked Sung. "Tell them about Earth, about our families. Ask them questions. Ask about their homes, their families. Make them see us as people, not targets." Sengho frowned. "They are warriors, will that work?" "Maybe not on all of them," one admitted. "But maybe on some, and some is better than none." Na started the new campaign immediately. Her team sent thousands of messages. They were simple messages. "Hello, we are humans from Earth. Do you have families? What is your home world like? We have children here. Do you have children?" Most ignored the messages, but some responded. At first their responses were cold, military, but slowly some became curious. One soldier named sent a message back. "Why do you fight? You cannot win." A human named Dongmin, who was an engineer, replied, "Because this is our home. Would you not fight for your home?" Did not answer for a long time, then he wrote back, "Yes, I would." Down on Earth, Dongmin was working on something else. He stood in a factory that used to make farming equipment. Now it made weapons, strange weapons. "Show me what you have," said Admiral One. She had come to visit the factory herself. Dongmin smiled. He was a short man with oil stains on his hands. "We don't have the technology they have. Our weapons are weaker, so I stopped trying to match them. Instead, I made weapons they won't expect." He pointed to a large machine. "This is a mining laser. We use it to cut through rock on asteroids, but if you make it overheat on purpose, it explodes. One person can carry it on a small ship, fly close to a vessel, and boom." "A suicide weapon," one said. "Not always," Dongmin replied. "If you're fast, you can escape before it blows, but yes, it's dangerous. Everything we have is dangerous, but it works." He showed her more inventions. Farming drones modified to carry explosives, industrial robots to fight, even old chemical rockets filled with metal scraps. "They have shields that stop energy weapons," Dongmin explained. "But these old kinetic weapons go right through. A bullet is just a piece of metal moving fast. Their computers don't even see it as a threat until it hits them." One laughed. It was a bitter laugh. "We're fighting a high-tech empire with rocks and sticks." "Whatever works," Dongmin said. In space, Sung was learning to fight differently. They fought in formation. They moved together like a machine. Their tactics were perfect, but they were predictable. "They expect us to fight like them," he told his remaining ships. "So we don't. We split up. We hide. We hit them when they don't expect it." A scientist named Bora had given him new information. "The war computers predict enemy movements based on logic," she explained. "If you do something illogical, the computers cannot predict it. They get confused." "So we act crazy," Sengho said. "Exactly," Bora replied. The human ships started doing strange things. One ship would fly straight at the fleet, then turn and run at the last second. Another would shut off all power and drift like wreckage, then suddenly attack. A third would broadcast loud music while firing randomly. They tried to adapt. Their computers tried to find patterns, but there were no patterns. Humans were not logical. They were emotional, desperate, creative. Lord sat in his command chair and felt something he had never felt before: frustration. "Why do they not follow proper battle tactics?" he demanded. His officers had no answer. A message came from the High Council. "The invasion is taking too long. You said this would be quick. Other species surrendered in days. It has been 2 weeks. Finish this." Felt pressure he had never experienced. Every previous conquest had been simple: show force, accept surrender, move on. But these humans would not surrender. They kept fighting with weapons that should not work. They kept sending him messages asking about his family. One message bothered him more than others. It was from a human named Jin. She wrote, "Lord, I have studied your people. You value honor. You believe conquest brings order to chaos. But what honor is there in destroying a species that only wants to live in peace? What order comes from making orphans and widows? I have a question for you. If another empire came to conquer your world, would you surrender?" Deleted the message, but he could not delete it from his mind. On Earth, people prepared for ground invasion. They knew it was coming. They would have to land troops eventually. Space battles were expensive. Ground combat was cheaper. A man named organized the defense of Seoul. He was not a soldier. He had been a teacher before the war, but now he commanded thousands of citizens. "They will expect military bases," he told his people. "So we turned the whole city into a military base. Every building, every street, every home. They built traps, they made weapons from kitchen tools. Old people learned to use drones. Children practiced first aid. Everyone had a job. A medical worker named Min set up hospitals in subway tunnels. "The will bomb buildings," she said, "but they cannot bomb underground easily. We treat wounded there." She also studied biology from the bodies of soldiers who died in space battles. Their armor is strong against lasers, she discovered, but their joints are weak, and they need to breathe oxygen just like us. Fire hurts them badly. Information spread across Earth. Simple information that could save lives: where to hide, how to fight, what weapons worked. 3 weeks after the first battle, they landed. Drop ships fell from the sky like dark rain. They landed in major cities around the world. Thousands of soldiers emerged, expecting organized military resistance. Instead, they got chaos. A squad entered a Seoul apartment building. They moved room to room, their weapons ready. Suddenly, an explosion rocked the hallway. Then another. Then gunfire from 3 different directions. Old men and women were shooting at them with rifles that were 100 years old. They took cover and returned fire, but the humans disappeared. The building was a maze, every room connected to another. There were hidden doors, false walls, and traps everywhere. One soldier named or cornered a human civilian. The human was an old man holding only a kitchen knife, or could kill him easily. But the old man did not look scared. He looked angry. "Why are you here?" the old man asked. "What did we do to you? We never attacked your world. We never even knew you existed." Or hesitated. In 23 previous invasions, no one had ever asked him that question. They just screamed or ran or begged. This old man wanted answers. "We bring order," or said, repeating what he had been taught. "You bring death," the old man replied. "You bring pain, is that order?" Or did not know how to answer. He had never thought about it before. His mission was to conquer. That was enough, wasn't it? Across the city, similar scenes played out. Soldiers fought enemies who would not stop, who used weapons that made no sense, who asked questions that had no good answers. Lord received reports from his ground commanders. The reports were not good. They controlled only small sections of each city. Human resistance was everywhere. Every civilian was a potential fighter. Progress was slow. For the first time in military history, Lord sent a message to the High Council, requesting reinforcements. The council was silent for a long moment. Then they replied, "Reinforcements will arrive in 60 days. Do not fail." Looked at Earth below. Such a small planet, such weak people. Why was this so hard? 2 months had passed since the war began. Earth was covered in smoke and fire. Cities that once held millions now held rubble and ruins. But humans kept fighting. They would not stop. Commander stood on what used to be a shopping mall in Seoul. Now it was a fortress. His people had reinforced the walls with metal scraps and concrete. They had guns on the roof, food and medicine in the basement. 1,000 people lived here, fighters, families, old and young together. A young woman ran up to him. Her name was Min and she was only 19 years old. "Sir, patrol approaching from the east, 20 soldiers." Nodded, "Same plan as yesterday, let them get close, spring the trap." They moved down the street in perfect formation. Their armor shined in the sunlight. Their weapons hummed with power. They looked unstoppable. Then the street exploded. Not the whole street, just small sections, enough to break their formation, enough to confuse them. From the buildings on both sides, humans attacked. They used guns, bows, even thrown rocks. They took cover and fired back. But the humans were already gone, moving through tunnels that connected the buildings. One soldier was hit by an arrow. An arrow. His armor could stop laser fire, but the arrow found a gap between the plates. He fell, wounded but alive. They retreated, carrying their wounded. They had not captured them all. They had lost 2 soldiers and gained nothing. This happened every day. Sometimes sometimes humans won, but the humans made sure every victory cost them dearly. In a hospital tunnel beneath the city, Dr. Min worked on a wounded fighter. The man had been shot by a weapon. The burn was bad, but he would live. "Hold still," she told him. "This will hurt." She had become good at treating weapon wounds. Too good. She had treated hundreds of patients. Every day brought more. But she had also learned about themselves. She had studied the bodies of dead soldiers. She knew their weaknesses now. "Their armor covers most of their body," she explained during a meeting. "But it has weak points. Behind the knee, under the arm, the neck seal. If you cannot shoot them in these places, use fire. Their armor does not protect well against heat, and they hate smoke. It makes them confused." Shared this information with all the resistance groups in Seoul. Within days, humans started using fire more. Molotov cocktails made from bottles and fuel, burning oil poured from rooftops, smoke bombs that filled the streets. They adapted their tactics. They sent drones ahead to scan for traps. They wore breathing filters. They moved faster, staying in the open less. But humans adapted too. They made new traps. They changed their tactics every few days. They could never predict what humans would do next. In space, Captain Sung led the few remaining human ships in a desperate game. They had only 12 ships left. They had 280, but those 12 ships caused constant problems. "They're bringing in a supply convoy," said Sang-ho, "from their empire. Food, fuel, and ammunition for their ground forces." Sung smiled. "Then we take it." "Sir, the convoy has 50 guard ships. We have 12. "We don't fight all 50, Sung explained. "We just grab what we can and run." They waited near an asteroid field. When the convoy passed, the human ships shot out like arrows. They hit the convoy fast, grabbed 2 supply ships, and disappeared back into the asteroids before they could react. The supplies they captured kept human fighters alive for another month. Lord watched reports from the ground. 3 months of fighting. His forces controlled only 30% of Earth. This was impossible. Every previous conquest had taken weeks, not months. "Why do they not break?" he asked his advisors. "We have killed millions. We have destroyed their cities. Why do they keep fighting?" An advisor named or spoke carefully. "My lord, perhaps because they have nowhere else to go. This is their only planet. For us, if we lose, we return to the empire. For them, if they lose everything." Had never thought of it that way. The empire had 1,000 worlds. Losing one battle meant nothing. But humans had only Earth. This was not just a battle for them. This was survival. A message came from a soldier named, the same soldier who had been talking with humans for months. "My lord, permission to speak freely." "Granted," said. "I believe we are fighting the wrong war," said carefully. "We try to conquer them with force, but they do not fear force. We try to break their spirit, but their spirit cannot be broken. Maybe we should try talking instead." Talking was shocked. "We do not negotiate with conquered people." "But they are not conquered, my lord. After 3 months they are not conquered." Felt anger, then he felt something else. Doubt. What if was right? What if this war could not be won by weapons alone? On Earth, a civilian named led a resistance group in. He was not a soldier. He had been a construction worker. But he knew how to organize people, how to build things, how to break things. His group had captured a soldier 2 days ago. The soldier was young, barely more than a child by standards. They kept him in a hidden basement, treating his wounds, giving him food and water. Sat across from the captured soldier. "What is your name?" he asked through a translation device. "I am not required to give information," the said stiffly. "I did not ask for information," replied. "I asked for your name. I am C. Now you know mine." The hesitated. "I am." "That is a good name. Are you hungry? We have food." This confused. He had been taught that humans were primitive savages, but they treated him with kindness. They healed his injuries, they fed him. Why? Why do you fight? Asked suddenly. You cannot win. Our empire is vast. Even if you defeat this fleet, more will come. Nodded slowly. Maybe, but maybe if we fight hard enough, your empire will decide Earth is not worth the cost. Do you know how many soldiers have died here? No, admitted. Over 100,000, said. More than your last 10 conquests combined. How many more will die? How many of your friends, your family? Had no answer. I do not want to kill you, continued. I do not want to kill anyone. I just want you to leave. Go back to your worlds. Let us live on ours. Is that so wrong? For the first time, wondered if the empire was right. They had always said conquest was noble, that bringing order to lesser species was good. But if these species did not want order, was forcing it on them still noble? Admiral One called a meeting of all remaining Earth commanders. They gathered in a bunker deep underground. Their faces were tired. Many had lost friends, lost family, but they had not lost hope. We cannot win, one said bluntly. Not in the traditional sense. We cannot destroy the fleet. We cannot kill all their soldiers, but we do not need to. Then what is the goal? Asked Sung. Survival, one replied. We make them regret coming here. We make this conquest so painful, so expensive, so long that they give up. They have other wars, other enemies. If we cost them too much, they will leave. How long can we hold out? Asked. As long as we must, one said. We have food for another year, we have weapons, we have will, that is enough. A new voice spoke. It was Bora, the scientist. I have completed the shield disruptor. Everyone turned to look at her. The shield disruptor was a weapon that could shut down shields for several minutes. It would make their ships vulnerable. What do you need? Asked Sung. An entire city's power grid, Bora said quietly. The weapon draws massive amounts of energy. Wherever I use it, that city loses power for a month, maybe longer. People could die from lack of hospitals, heating, water treatment. The room was silent. This was the price of war. To hurt the enemy, they had to hurt themselves. We will find a volunteer city, one decided. Somewhere already evacuated, somewhere we can sacrifice. Back in space, Lord received orders from the High Council. The message was cold and clear. This conquest must end within 60 days. You have authorization to use planet-killer weapons if necessary. Planet-killer weapons. Missiles that could crack a world's crust. Bombs that could poison an atmosphere. They had never needed to use them before. Showing them was usually enough to make enemies surrender. But would it work on humans? Was not sure. These humans seemed willing to die rather than surrender. If he destroyed half their planet, would the survivors give up, or would they just fight harder? He thought about the messages he had received, the questions humans asked. Why are you here? What did we do to you? For the first time in his life, Lord felt something that warriors were not supposed to feel. Shame. Was this conquest right? Or was it just murder dressed up in honor? He did not know anymore. 5 months. The war had lasted 5 months. Earth's population had dropped from 9 billion to 7 billion. 2 billion people dead, cities destroyed, forests burned, oceans poisoned. The planet was dying. But humans still fought. Admiral One stood in her command bunker looking at casualty reports. The numbers made her feel sick. So many dead, so many wounded, so many children without parents, parents without children. Was it worth it? Asked Commander Sang-ho. He had transferred to ground command after his ship was destroyed. His face had new scars now, burns from a weapon. I do not know yet, one answered honestly. Ask me when the war ends if we survive. A messenger arrived. Ma'am, they are offering prisoner exchange. They have 500 human prisoners. They want their captured soldiers back. One nodded. Agree to it. Set the meeting for neutral ground. Old Tokyo ruins. The exchange happened 3 days later. It was strange to see and humans standing together without fighting. They traded prisoners in silence. Most of the humans who returned were wounded. Many could not walk. They had not treated them well. But one human prisoner, a woman named Na, smiled despite her injuries. She had spent months in a prison ship. During that time she had talked with her guards, made friends with some. A guard named approached her during the exchange. "I want you to know," he said quietly, "not all of us believe in this war anymore." "Then stop fighting," Na replied. "It is not that simple. We have orders, we have duty." "You also have choice," Na said. She touched his arm gently. "Every day you choose, choose wisely." Watched her walk away. Her words stayed in his mind. Back in human territory, Dr. Min treated the returned prisoners. Many had broken bones, burns, infections. One young man had lost his legs. "Will I walk again?" he asked her. Min wanted to lie, wanted to give him hope, but she was honest. "Maybe, someday, if we survive this war, if we can build new medical facilities, but right now, no, I am sorry." The young man cried. Min cried with him. She was so tired of seeing people suffer, so tired of death. Her assistant, a teenager named Jinwoo, asked her a question. "Doctor, why do we keep fighting? Look at the cost. Maybe we should surrender. At least people would stop dying." Min looked at the boy. He was only 16, too young for war, but war did not care about age. "If we surrender, our people become slaves," she explained. "They will take our resources, our freedom, our future. Yes, people are dying now, but if we surrender, our whole species dies slowly. Better to fight and maybe lose than to give up and definitely lose." Jinwoo nodded, but he still looked uncertain. In space, Captain Sung received shocking news. His crew had intercepted communications. They had broken some of the enemy codes. "Listen to this," said his communications officer. She played a recording. It was High Council talking to Lord. "This conquest is taking too long. It costs too much. Other worlds watch and wonder if the Empire is weak. 3 other conquered species have started rebellions. They are inspired by human resistance." Sung's heart jumped. "Play that again." They listened 3 more times. The message was clear. Earth's resistance was causing problems across the Empire. Other enslaved species were fighting back. "We are winning," Sung said slowly. "Not here, not on Earth, but across their empire. We are showing others that they can be resisted." He immediately sent this information to Admiral 1. She shared it with every resistance group on Earth. The news spread fast. Humans had done something no other species had done. They had hurt the Empire itself. Morale improved. People fought harder. They had a reason now, not just survival. They were fighting for every species they had conquered, every slave who wanted freedom. But Lord faced growing pressure. The High Council sent another message. "You have 60 days to finish this. If you cannot, we send planet-killer weapons. Earth will be destroyed completely. No survivors. We cannot let one small planet make the Empire look weak." Felt horror. He had conquered many worlds, but he had never destroyed one. Conquest meant adding worlds to the Empire. Destruction meant waste, pointless waste. He called a meeting with his top commanders. "We have 60 days. I need solutions." His generals suggested massive bombing, chemical weapons, biological warfare. Each suggestion was more brutal than the last. But one commander spoke differently. "My lord, perhaps we should offer peace." The room went silent. Other commanders stared at like he was insane. "Peace," repeated. "Not surrender," said quickly. "Negotiation. We leave Earth. They agree not to attack our empire. Both sides stop killing each other." "The High Council would never approve," a general said. "The High Council is not here," replied. "They do not see what we see. They do not understand these humans. My lord, we have lost 130,000 soldiers. That is more than the last 20 conquests combined. How many more must die? For what? Pride." Thought about this. He thought about the messages humans had sent him, the questions they asked. Why are you here? What did we do to you? He had no good answers. I will consider it, said. But first we try one more offensive, one final push. If it fails, then we talk of peace. The offensive began a week later. They threw everything at human defenses, every ship, every soldier, every weapon. It was their last chance to win through force. In Seoul watched enemy ships darken the sky. This is it, he told his fighters. They are coming with everything. We hold or we die. The battle was terrible. Troops poured into the city. Buildings fell, streets burned. Humans fought back with everything they had. Old weapons, new weapons, bare hands when weapons ran out. Dr. Min's hospital was hit by a bomb. Half of it collapsed. She pulled wounded people from the rubble with her own hands. Jinwoo, her young assistant, died saving a patient. Min found his body and wanted to scream, but she could not. Too many others needed help. In's resistance group fought street by street. They lost half their fighters in one day, but they did not retreat, could not retreat. There was nowhere left to go. A soldier cornered in a destroyed building, but before the soldier could fire, an explosion rocked the street. Both men were thrown to the ground. When the dust cleared, they looked at each other. The soldier could shoot, had lost his weapon, but the soldier hesitated. He had been fighting humans for 5 months. He was tired, so tired. Why do you not give up? The soldier asked. Why do you not leave? Replied. They stared at each other. Then the soldier lowered his weapon and walked away. He could not kill anymore, not today. In space, Sung launched Bora's shield disruptor. The weapon drew power from an entire abandoned city. The energy beam shot into space and hit the fleet. For 10 minutes, their shields were gone. Human ships attacked immediately. They destroyed 12 vessels before the shields came back online. 12 ships out of 250. But those 12 ships held 3,000 soldiers, 3,000 who would never go home. Lord watched his fleet take damage and felt something break inside him. How many more must die? How many more? The offensive failed. After 3 days of brutal fighting, they held only 35% of Earth. They had gained 5% at the cost of 20,000 soldiers. Received the final message from the High Council. Planet-killer weapons are being prepared. They arrive in 30 days. Evacuate your forces. Earth will be destroyed. He looked at the message for a long time. Then he did something he had never done before, something no commander had ever done. He sent a message to Admiral 1. I wish to negotiate. 1 read the message 3 times. She did not trust it, but she also knew Earth could not survive much longer. They had fought amazingly, but they were running out of everything. Food, medicine, ammunition, people. Set up a meeting, she ordered, but be ready for a trap. The meeting was set for 15 days later. Neutral ground. Both sides would send representatives. For the first time since the war began, there would be talking instead of shooting. Maybe, just maybe, Earth could survive. But first, they had to convince that peace was possible. And they had to convince their own people that negotiation was not surrender. The hardest battles, Admiral 1 realized, were still ahead. The meeting place was a field outside what used to be Geneva. Once this city had been beautiful. Now it was ruins, but the field was green. Nature was already trying to heal. Admiral 1 arrived with 4 people, Captain Sung, Commander Dr. Jin, and a civilian named. She wanted to see different kinds of humans, soldiers and civilians, military and peaceful. Lord arrived with his own group, military commanders, advisors, and surprisingly, the soldier who had been talking with humans for months. The 2 groups stood facing each other. For a long moment, nobody spoke. These were enemies. They had killed each other for 6 months. Trust was hard. Spoke first. I am authorized to discuss terms of withdrawal. Withdrawal, 1 repeated, not our surrender. No withdrawal. The Empire will leave Earth. In exchange, Earth must agree to non-aggression. No attacks on territory or vessels. One felt hope rise in her chest, but she kept her face neutral. Why this change? Why not just destroy us? Was silent for a moment. When he spoke, his voice was quiet. Because you have taught us something. Conquest is not honor, it is tyranny. You asked us why we came here. I have been asking myself that question for months. I have no good answer. Jin stepped forward. What about the other species you conquered? Will you free them too? That is not my decision, said. I command only this fleet, but your resistance has inspired others. 3 rebellions have started in territory. The High Council is reconsidering our conquest policies. Not good enough, said. Everyone looked at him in surprise. He was just a civilian, but he spoke anyway. You want peace with us. Free the others, all of them. Prove your empire can change. A commander moved forward angrily. You do not make demands. We could still destroy your world. Then do it, said calmly. Destroy us, kill everyone, but know that you will be murderers, not warriors, and the whole galaxy will know it too. We have been broadcasting this war to every nearby star system. They all watch. They all see what we see. Bullies pretending to be heroes. The commander reached for his weapon, but stopped him. He is right. We have been broadcasting honor while committing atrocities. This ends now. But ending the war was harder than it seemed. Not everyone wanted peace. On Earth, many humans wanted revenge. They had lost so much. How could they just let the leave? Protest groups formed. They demanded the fighting continue until every was dead or gone from the solar system. In the fleet, commanders argued for using the planet-killer weapons. We cannot show weakness, they said. If we negotiate, others will think we are soft. For 2 weeks, the peace talks almost broke down every day. Then something happened. An assassination attempt tried to kill Lord during a meeting. They wanted to restart the war, but Dr. Min saw the attackers first. She threw herself in front of taking a shot meant for him. The attackers were stopped quickly, but Min was badly hurt. Himself carried her to a medical shuttle. Why? He asked her. Why save me? I am your enemy. Min, bleeding and in pain, smiled weakly. Because I am tired of people dying. All people, even people. She survived, and her action changed everything. Humans saw that even after everything they could still show mercy, saw that humans could forgive. The peace talks moved faster after that. But there was still one big problem. The planet-killer weapons were on their way. They would arrive in 10 days. The High Council had sent them before talks began. Someone had to stop them. I will go, said. I will take a ship and intercept them. I will convince the weapons crew to turn back. They will not listen to you, said. They have direct orders from the High Council. Then I will destroy the weapons myself if I must, replied. I will not let them destroy Earth. Not now, not after we are so close to peace. Captain Sung stepped forward. I will go with you, human and together, maybe that will convince them. Admiral 1 approved the mission. Sung and took a fast ship and raced to intercept the planet-killer convoy. They found it 3 days later. 5 massive ships carrying weapons that could crack worlds. The convoy commander was a named Al. He refused to stop. I have orders from the High Council, Al said. Earth must be destroyed to show the Empire's strength. The High Council gave those orders before negotiations, argued. Things have changed. Lord is signing a peace treaty. Lord has gone soft, Al replied. He has been corrupted by human lies. I will complete my mission. Sung tried next. Commander Al, I am Captain Sung of Earth Defense Forces. I have fought your people for 6 months. I have killed your soldiers, but I do not want to kill anymore. Please, turn back. Let us have peace. Peace with primitives is weakness, Al said. He cut the communication. Looked at Sung. We must stop them by force. Our ship cannot fight 5 war vessels, Sung said. I know, but maybe we can disable the weapons. Get close, board them. It was a suicide mission, but they had no choice. They flew straight at the convoy. The ships fired, dodged the shots with skill that impressed even Sung. They got close enough to board. They crashed into one-weapon ship's docking bay. Fighting through the ship was hard. Both men were wounded, but they reached the weapon controls. They set the weapon to overload. It would explode in 10 minutes. Go, told Sung. Get to the escape pods. What about you? Sung asked. Someone must make sure it explodes. Someone must pilot the ship away from the convoy first. If it explodes here, it could damage the other weapon ships and they might still reach Earth. Sung understood, was going to die. You do not have to do this, Sung said. Yes, I do. For 6 months I fought humans. I killed many of your people. I cannot undo that, but maybe I can save the rest. That is enough. That is honor. Sung grips arm in the human way. You are a good man, a hero. I will make sure everyone knows your name. Smiled, just make sure they spell it right. Sung escaped, piloted the weapon ship away from the convoy. When it exploded, it was far enough away that the other ships were not damaged, but they stopped. The convoy commander realized that if one weapon could be destroyed, all could be. Al retreated. He reported to the High Council. The Council, seeing that their own soldiers were now fighting against the destruction of Earth, finally ordered a full stop to all attacks. The war was over. The Treaty of New Seoul was signed 3 weeks later. The terms were simple. They would leave Earth. Earth would not attack territory. Both sides would exchange all prisoners. They would pay reparations to help Earth rebuild. And something extra. Something had demanded. The Empire agreed to review the status of all conquered worlds. Many would be given freedom. Admiral 1 signed for Earth. Lord signed for the Empire. When it was done, they shook hands. It was awkward. Neither trusted the other completely, but it was a start. The fleet left Earth's solar system 2 months later. Humans watched them go with mixed feelings. Relief, sadness, anger, loss. Earth had survived, but 7 billion people lived where 9 billion once did. 2 billion dead, cities destroyed, the environment damaged. It would take decades to heal, maybe centuries. But they had survived, and they had done something incredible. They had fought the unbeatable and won, not with superior weapons, not with better technology, but with stubbornness, with creativity, with the refusal to give up. 10 years later, Admiral 1 gave a speech at the memorial for the fallen. She was old now, tired, but still strong. We remember those who died, she said. 2 billion souls, each one precious, each one missed. They died defending their home, their families, their future. She paused, looking at the crowd. Many had scars, many had lost loved ones, but they had survived. They came here prepared for battle. They had better ships, better weapons, better everything. But they were not prepared for something simple. They were not prepared for humans who refused to quit, who fought with laser cannons and kitchen knives, who turned every building into a fortress and every civilian into a soldier. The crowd cheered weakly. They were still healing. They were not prepared for our stubbornness, our creativity, our absolute refusal to surrender, and so they left, not because we destroyed them, but because we made them see that conquest has a price, and that price was too high. One smiled. We are human, we are not the strongest, but we are survivors, and that is enough. Somewhere in space, on a training ship, Lord taught young officers about Earth. Study this world, he told them. Study humans. They are dangerous, not because they are strong, but because they refuse to accept defeat. We lost 150,000 soldiers trying to conquer one small planet, one planet. A young officer raised his hand. Teacher, should we fear humans? Thought about this. No, we should respect them. There is a difference. Fear makes you do stupid things. Respect makes you careful. He showed them recordings from the war. Human fighters using improvised weapons. civilians fighting soldiers, a doctor saving an enemy commander. The humans taught us something important, continued. Conquest is not honor, it is tyranny. Real honor is in knowing when to fight and when to make peace. The Empire conquered 23 species before Earth, but Earth conquered us, not with weapons, with will. The young officers listened carefully. They would remember this lesson. Back on Earth, a young girl named Jin studied history in school. She learned about the war, about the heroes, about the sacrifice. Her teacher asked the class a question. What did we learn from the war? Jin raised her hand. We learned that being strong is not just about weapons. It is about never giving up, even when things seem impossible. The teacher smiled. That is right, and also that we are not alone in the galaxy anymore. There are others out there, some friendly, some not. We must be ready. Earth rebuilt slowly. Cities rose from ruins, forests grew back, the population increased, life continued. But humans were changed. They knew now that they were not alone, that the galaxy was big and dangerous and wonderful. They built new ships, better weapons, they prepared. But they also remembered. They remembered the cost of war, the pain, the loss, and they swore to only fight when there was no other choice. The memorial to the fallen stood in Seoul, 2 billion names carved in stone. It would take a lifetime to read them all, but every name was there, every person remembered. At the base of the memorial, words were carved. They were prepared for battle. We were prepared to survive, and survival is the greatest victory of all. Humanity had faced its first test among the stars, and humanity had passed, not perfectly, not easily, but passed. And the galaxy was watching.